The Law of Detachment: expect nothing, gain everything. Understanding detachment. Doesn't it feel like a paradox? Detachment. It's a concept that can be so confusing. How could caring less about something actually help you achieve it? Shouldn't it work the other way around? When you really want something, or someone, you'd think that intense desire would bring you closer to getting it. But if you stop and reflect, you've probably noticed that's not always the case. Think about it. You're on a first date, and you want it to go perfectly. But because you care so much, you overthink every little thing. You're not yourself, and it doesn't go the way you hoped. Maybe there's no second date. Or you're playing a sport, it's a big moment, and the pressure is overwhelming. Instead of rising to the occasion, you choke. This idea of detachment is often overcomplicated to the point where it's buried under layers of intellectual theories, New Age mysticism, and jargon. It becomes something you can't really grasp or apply, leaving you even more confused than when you first heard about it. To me, it's like when I took organic chemistry in college. I failed it twice, and here's why: knowing something and actually doing it are two entirely different things. That's why, in this video, I want to cut through all the unnecessary fluff and make this concept practical. My goal is to give you a clear, actionable understanding of detachment so you can walk away and actually apply it in your life. The easiest way I can explain detachment is this. Practical explanation of detachment. If you take your phone and toss it up in the air, you probably don't even think about it. You could do it in your sleep, maybe even throw in a little fancy twirl. Why? Because you know that if you drop it, it's not going far. It's not going to break. It's no big deal. You're fine. Now, imagine holding that same phone over a fifth-story ledge in a mall. You can see the floor way down below, and you give it a little toss. What happens? Your heart rate spikes, your palms sweat, and you're freaking out. You're so scared of dropping the phone because if it falls, it's game over. It'll shatter. It has all your contacts, your photos, it's going to take weeks to replace, and it's not covered by insurance. That feeling of holding the phone over the ledge? That's over-attachment. And the feeling you have tossing it casually in your house? That's detachment. The point is, when you're overly attached to something, whether it's a goal, a person, or an outcome, your results are often worse, not better. Let me back that up with a story that really drives this home. Picture this: you're a world-class speed skater. You've competed in the Olympics, won titles, and built a reputation. But despite all of that, you have this label hanging over you: you're cursed. You've never won an Olympic medal. That was the reality for speed skater Dan Jansen. Right before one of his Olympic races, he received devastating news: his sister had just passed away after her battle with leukemia. You'd think that kind of emotional weight, that extra motivation, would fuel him to victory. After all, that's the Hollywood version, isn't it? But instead, he slipped during his race and finished 8th. Fast forward to the 1994 Olympics. Dan is back, but this time, he takes a completely different approach. Instead of obsessing over the outcome, instead of telling himself, if I don't win, this curse will follow me forever, he decides to let go. He shifts his focus. He tells himself he's going to skate for the people who matter most to him: his family, his sister, his coaches, and the people who got him to this moment. And what happens? Not only does Dan Jansen win the gold medal, but he also sets a new Olympic world record. I still get goosebumps every time I think about that story. Do you feel it now? Are you starting to see it in your own life, the times when you cared too much, and how that worked against you? Now, I said there were 3 solutions to finding the sweet spot, the middle path where you're not overly attached but also not checked out or indifferent. Let's go over them, because in my experience, these are the most effective ways to embrace detachment without losing sight of what matters. Solutions for practicing detachment. At its core, detachment is about basing your motivation outside of outcomes. Let me say that again, detachment is finding your motivation independent of the results. And honestly, this is one of the biggest traps in self-improvement. If you're not careful, it becomes all about checking boxes so you can achieve something. Take meditation, for example. It stops being about honoring yourself or re-regulating your nervous system and turns into something you do just to make more money in your business. Or working out, it's no longer about feeling good or having energy, but instead, it becomes about looking good to get approval from others. Here's a powerful question to ask yourself: how much of what you're doing is genuine versus approval-seeking behavior? When I asked myself that, it rocked me. I realized so much of my life was motivated by trying to impress others or fit into an image I thought I needed to maintain. Sourcing your motivation from something deeper has to come from within. It's not something I can hand you, and that's the point. For me, I've found that pursuing genuine excitement and doing things simply because I love them is a solid North Star. It's not about doing something to get a result, it's about doing it for the sake of doing it. So how do you handle attachment when it comes up? Here's a reframe that has helped me: detachment is about separating yourself from your emotions, not suppressing them. Separating means you acknowledge the emotion, you can care, but you don't let it consume you. Suppressing, on the other hand, is when you feel something and think, I shouldn't feel this way, so you shove it down and ignore it. But suppression is dangerous because those emotions don't disappear, they just linger. It's like a trash can. If you press down a pizza box to make room for more trash, the old trash is still there. It doesn't go away until you take it out. This applies even at the highest levels. Tiger Woods, arguably the greatest golfer of all time, said something along the lines of, I still get nervous before tournaments, every single time. And the day I'm not nervous is the day I quit, because that means I don't care anymore. When you feel over-attached, notice the sensations and separate yourself from them. Don't suppress them or label them as wrong. For example, if you're nervous before a date, try reframing it as excitement. Nervousness and excitement exist on the same spectrum, they're just different manifestations of the same emotion. Anxiety says, I can't mess this up, while excitement says, I'm pumped for this. The key is not to make your emotions, over-attachment, or outcome dependence, wrong. Instead, notice it, acknowledge it, and then separate yourself from it. Now, here's the most important point: if you're thinking too much, you're not acting enough. I'll say it again, overthinking kills progress. 1 hour of implementation is worth 10 hours of overplanning or intellectualizing. Just like eating too many calories gets stored as fat in your body, caring too much gets stored as anxiety. The way to burn through it is to take action. Let me share a personal example. Back in 2020, during the COVID lockdown, I challenged myself to make 5 videos a day. TikTok was taking off, and I had nothing else going on. For the first couple of hours each morning, I'd just film videos without overthinking. I'd edit them and post them. People would ask, how do you film 5 videos a day? The answer was simple: I stayed in action mode. I wasn't stuck in planning mode. I had a friend at a mastermind who said, this is the last one I'm attending. When I asked why, he said, I've realized I already know enough to build a $100,000 a month business. I just need to take action. That hit me hard because he was right. Most of us already have what we need to hit our goals, we're just stuck in doubt or overthinking. So, how can you take more action? A mantra I love is, I love taking action. Action makes me feel alive. Action gets me results. If you brainwash yourself with that belief, it'll transform the way you approach your goals. 1 hour of doing will always beat 10 hours of thinking. And that, in a nutshell, is detachment. Conclusion. Alright, folks, that's the breakdown on the power of detachment. I hope this video gave you clarity and a fresh perspective on how letting go of outcomes can actually help you achieve more in life. Remember, it's not about caring less, it's about caring differently. If this resonated with you, don't forget to smash that like button, leave a comment sharing your biggest takeaway, or even a story of how detachment has worked for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you're ready to dive deeper, check out my How to Success playlist for more practical tips to level up your mindset and your life. Thanks for watching, and as always, take action, stay detached, and I'll see you in the next video.